record. Yep. Okay, fine. If any questions or anything on this end game, otherwise we'll go to our regular positions. Anyone has any other questions?
Sir, with what idea did you play rook to f8?
That's what.
Like,
No, I will tell you. Okay, so king to f1. See, I somehow thought that rook h4 is now no longer working. Okay, and then I thought I will play rook f8 and I will force the what do you call? I'll open the f file by exchanging the pawn, and that way I will get my rook to drive away the white king. Okay, that is what I thought. But what I missed is the knight is coming back. See, after this, if what I missed is the knight is able to come back to d4, and then it's a problem for me. If the knight does not come back to d4, then still, because I will play f4, sorry, f5 I will play. Okay, and then if you exchange the pawn, then also it is good for me. If you don't exchange the pawn, then also my f pawn starts rolling down. So again, it will create a problem. So that is what I saw. But rook h4, I did not play, only thinking that knight d8 is going to cause a problem. But actually, it is not going to cause a problem. Right? Yeah, I was looking at h4 and h5 both, and h5 I could see because knight will come to e7 and prevent the rook from giving the check on f5. So I was thinking of rook h4. Yeah. But actually, it is not like that. Even rook to h5 also, knight to e7, then black can pick up the e5 pawn, attack the knight, and then again vacate. So that way it is okay. Rook h5 is also okay. No problem. Right. So yeah. So that was.
So how is rook h5 okay?
See, rook h5. What will black do? Sorry, what will
Knight d4.
Huh?
Knight d4. Knight d4 and f5 is coming.
d4. Then I will take the pawn on e5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true.
So yeah. Okay, fine. So let us go to our positions. We were at number 7, I believe, right? Number 7. And I think the first two positions we had seen it. Yeah, last time we had seen this. 25 and 26 we had seen it. Yeah, 26 also we saw, right? White queen will sacrifice on f8 and then win. So that we had seen it. Number 27, it is white to move.
Queen d4 check.
Queen d4 check. So king will come to g8.
Queen d5 check.
Queen d5 check. So black will exchange the queens.
Then you have rook for a bishop.
Correct. And in fact, why this position we had seen it earlier in level 3 class. If I am remembering, I think it might be in some simplification or endgame, some principle like that, where we had seen the same position exactly.
yeah, I remember this position.
Right. So where it is better to, with the queens on board, it is always that black queen is threatening that queen to h1 mate, etc. Right. So all kinds of threats with the queen and the bishop battery. So it is easier to exchange the queens even at the cost of a pawn, right? Pawn will go, but even then it is better because after that the white rook will come to c7 and clamp down on the black king, and anyway he has got a passer, b pawn passer. So once he's there on the 7th rank with a passer, the bishop will not be able to do much against it. Very easy. And white's king will also join the party. So white's king will come, and that is the way. So this is a I mean, the idea is, yeah, you can always play also some other moves, but this is simplification towards a one end game, right? That is the theme of this position.
Sir, even black can advance, right?
Black can advance, but what will happen is the rook is there, right? So the rook is too powerful. So if advance two pawns forward, he will simply come and kill, and you will not be able to defend them. And white's pawn is b pawn, so the king is all cut off. Black king is cut off, right? So in fact, black's pawn will not advance because white's king will prevent them from advancing. White has got one pawn and a king. That is enough to stop the black pawns. While you roll forward your b pawn. So bishop will try to do something, but then rook will also attack it. And beyond the point, the bishop will have to be sacrificed against the b pawn, because the b pawn will otherwise queen. So that is what is the threat here. So after that, it is all. You want to check this out?
No, sir, it's clear.
Okay, number 28, black to move.
Queen F1 check.
Sacrifice, huh?
King C, then bishop T3 double check.
Yeah, that's it. Queen to F1, brilliant.
And then
And no option other than white king will take the queen on f1, but then bishop to d3 double check. So the battery of the rook and bishop is such that king has to come to e1 again, and then the rook will checkmate. Right. So this is similar to the other Réti's checkmate that we had seen on d8, sacrificing the queen on d8, and then rook and bishop double check. Right. So something very similar, but with a d3. So it see. It looks difficult, right? I mean, it looks that white has got a queen, a bishop is also there. Only thing is that white's king is not yet castled and the f file is open. But so many tactics happen just because of this. See, and white none of the white pieces are able to do anything to interfere. Absolutely nothing. They cannot even, because it's a double check. You cannot even bring your knight to e2 or f3 or something. Nothing. It's simple. Tack, tack, tack. Third move, it is checkmate. Right, so queen f1, double exclamation mark, and you have to find it in a game. That is the thing. See, we can easily find this now when you are presenting, but when you are playing and then white queen has come from somewhere to b3 to exchange and all, and in such a mental setup, you have to be able to still find the tactic. So that is what separates masters from ordinary players. Right, in the heat of the game, in the heat of all the plus minus this that etc., you still have to keep your head calm and still play it and find it. So good. All right, good. So I think that is what we complete with this. And next week, what I'm going to do is, next week we may hold let me see, because I may have to travel next week. I'm just giving a heads up. So if next week and weekend, if I'm traveling, then what will I do is, I'm not sure whether by playing online you can get FIDE rating. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think you have to play offline, because too many cheatings are there in online play and nobody really takes it. Unless you are already an established player, etc. But I don't think they give ratings, this, that, and all for online. They should not give, because it is very difficult to maintain like things. So you have to play over the board only. But if you guys are interested, I can tell you the procedure how to register for a FIDE ID, right? And you can get it. I think I don't know how much is it, 2,000 rupees, something like that. I think I paid 2,000 rupees last year to get my registration, but I have not played in any OTV tournament. But but yeah, at least I've got a FIDE ID. You can get it, and when you can afford, you have your entire life in front of you to play. So I think it is a good idea to get a FIDE registration done. And now things are starting to open up, so there will be tournaments now happening. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think all of you who are serious about chess should get, and India should get the FIDE registration. Probably Ansh, you have got a USCF registration done, right, Ansh? You will have a US chess ID, I think. Is Ansh still there or no? Yeah, Ansh is there. Ansh, what about Anup? Have you also USCF registration done?
I have a USCF rating.
No, I don't.
Maybe
You
can
want
give it-
my USCF ID?
Yeah, Ansh can probably help you what is the procedure, but you can also get it done, I think, Anup.
I don't know how to, but I could give you my USCF ID.
Okay.
But why do you want it?
No, Anup is also there in US, right? So he should, to play in the US tournaments, I think it will be good for you to have the ID so that the tournament will start, over the board tournament will start very soon. So yeah. Okay, so I think that is that. So I will tell you the procedure for the FIDE, India FIDE registration. I will tell you. I have done it last year, so I will do. Everything is online, so don't worry. You have to, it just takes a week or so to get your ID, and then you can check it. All right. So that is it for this week. Let us see next week. So if I am traveling, I'm not sure, but if I have to travel for work next weekend, then we will not have the regular class. But then if we are not having the regular class, then I will use the next weekend to have our prize tournament. It is due by anyway by end of July. So 1 week here and there doesn't matter. So then we will utilize the next week. So possibly get ready for the prize tournament of L4, first prize tournament of L4 for next weekend. Okay. All right. So with that, I think